Hello, everyone, and happy discussion day. Today, we are going to be discussing On Wings of Blood by Briar Bolin. Bolian. I am so bad with names. Um, but yeah, let me know that you're here. If you read the book, if you didn't read the book, you are not going to want to stay. You will get spoilers. I mean, unless you want spoilers, that's up to you. Um, you might notice that it is just me tonight, and that is because April unfortunately has a migraine and she had her first day of kids again for school, and so the poor thing's at home resting up as she should be. But let me know if you read the book, use okay. There's like a little blood, isn't there like a blood emoji? Like a little red drop? I don't know. Sometimes YouTube emojis are hard. But so if you can find like or a red heart, that would have been so much easier. A red heart or the little blood emoji or a dragon emoji. Use a fun emoji that relates to the book if you read it. If you didn't read it, um, you know, I'm glad that you're here, but I wouldn't want to spoil it for you. Um, so yeah, this was a longer book. I thought it was like 517 pages, and then when I started getting to the end last night, I was like, "Wait, I'm almost to 500. There's still a lot more." No, it's like 567 pages, so there's like 50 more than I thought. But that's all good. I finished it at like 4 or 5 AM this morning, so I had lots of time. Hey, Yvette. You had like over over 15 minutes to spare. You are good. Hi, Tina. I'm leaving a work meeting now. I'll be listening but not commenting until I get home. No worries. Um Yeah, I understand it's a weird time. It's so hard because the East Coasters, I'm used to going to bed pretty soon because my husband wakes up at like 3:45. And days like today, I also wake up at 3:45. I finish books and get stuff done, but it's hard for me to stay up late, but I know a lot of you are still traveling and getting home from work and all of that. But I'm so glad you're here and listening. I know, it's the poor thing. That's she had one this weekend, and then she's like, "Yeah, you just can't." And I'm like, "Girl, you need to sleep. You need to sleep." So, I hope she is in a Benadryl haze and is feeling better. Yay, I'm so glad you were able to get it done. I'm so glad you were able to read it, Tina, and I'm so thankful for you guys for, commenting on Discord too, and if you guys don't know, our Instagram is Tales of Starlight Book Club on Instagram, which there should be a link in the description. And then in the bio of that is where you can find our Discord. A dragon. I could only like picture Mushu's voice with this whole time. I had so much time, didn't know what to do with myself. Yvette started yesterday. She started yesterday. Oh, yeah, there's little vampire emojis too. I forget about that. I like the little vampire emoji. I go to bed early too, but I had a meeting at my part-time job at the Y. Okay, in my car. I'll be back in 15 minutes, but listening to you talk on my way home. And it's gonna be a lot of me talking, which I do apologize because I have a cold and I'm sounding pretty rough. So I apologize ahead of time if I need to take a cough break. I've had a cold since Starfall, and it just won't leave me alone. But it was all worth it, all good things. But with that being said, I want to know what your guys' rating was. If you guys are here and you haven't read it, you're gonna want to leave. Spoilers, 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 all the spoilers. I'm excited to talk about this. A lot happened in this book. Um, I don't, yeah, Anyways, out of 5 stars, I just wanna know off the bat, like, what were your guys' thoughts on this? Um, I'll get into it a little bit more with another question down the road, but I thought I was gonna hate this book. I just was not I don't know. Off the get-go, I was just not vibing. And then, I really started liking it, and then I really started liking it, and then by the end, I was like, "Okay, okay, I'm invested." So, I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I think that's where I'm at. It wasn't, like, blow me out of the water, like, favorite thing ever, but there were things I really, really loved about it, after we got through some stuff. Um, but, you know and that's what I'm thankful for, like, book clubs and stuff because I don't know if I would have continued with this book from the get-go. Nice, something to remember from Starfall by. It's from sleeping in a tent. I need to do my, like, recap of Starfall and everything. But instead of spending a ton of money to barely stay in a hotel room. We opted for camping, and we don't have a RV or a camper or anything, so we slept in a tent, which conveniently, Northern Michigan was like, "This is gonna be the coldest weekend all summer." It was 80s and 90s, which I'm so thankful it wasn't that hot, but instead of being super hot, it was actually super cold, like, high 40s, low 50s at night, and it was damp. And I just remember waking up so cold, I shivered the whole night. Matt was like, "That was the most great, perfect sleeping weather," and I woke up and I was like, "I feel something in my chest," and it's just been here. Been here since then. So, and then I traveled again, which wasn't helping my immune system because I barely leave my house, only to work part-time at the gym. So, now here I am. So, Eva gave it 4 stars. I know, she's like, "Is it worth binging?" And I'm like, "I think so." I hated the beginning though. So just keep going. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the tent. I did that in California when I went to the wineries, saved on lodging, and brought home a case of wine. See, it's called balance. And honestly, the next night, I slept perfectly. It was a little bit warmer, and I slept with um, I bundled up a little bit more, so I had like sweatpants and a sweatshirt instead of just like a t-shirt and shorts. And I was fine the next night. I mean, I probably also had more alcohol in my system, so I slept through the night fine, but I don't know. Anyways, I digress. It was cold. Sleeping in a tent was rough, but just the first night. And now I'm still paying for it weeks later. Case of wine. I know what you meant. I didn't get my second read in this time, so it's staying at my original rating of 4.5. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yes, alcohol to keep you warm. I mean, that's totally what it does, right? That's And then Tina, I know you're not here. Well, you're here, but you can't comment. And I think you posted, yeah, you were like at like a 3.5-ish, which is good. I think like that means we all liked it, right? We didn't hate it. I do know that a couple people DNF'd it, so they're probably not here for the spoilers, which I completely understand. Um, but we'll kind of jump into uh, this question then, like, did your feelings of the book change from the beginning to the end? Because if you go through Discord and you watch my comments, you could probably see me, like, progressively change my thoughts on the book, because in the beginning, guys, I had the ick. I understand, like, some things are just different, and especially with vampires, I don't know why, everything tends I guess fairies that way are that way too. Anytime you have like semi-immortal beings, I feel like things are just a little bit more like shock factor and sexualized. And I felt like off the get-go, it was like it felt like watching an HBO show. That's what I kept telling everybody. I was like, it's like shocking in your face, but then all of a sudden it like was coming off really immature to me. And then I kind of, like, liked that there was, like, triads and the bonds could be more than just a couple, but I wasn't for, like, the whole jealousy, "I hate you" type vibes in the beginning. Um, and I don't know why, even though I know they're, like, in college and they're older and in all the other fantasy books I read, they're young, right? They're normally, like, 19, 20s, younger. It felt high school at first to me, and I'm like, "That's a bit intense." And then it kind of, like, built the world up, you learn the background a little bit more. They felt more mature as the book went on, because to me, it felt really immature in the beginning. And then I was like, "Okay, I actually really, really like this." Um, "Hey, Wendy." "Hey, it's okay. We're just getting started. It's just me tonight. April had a migraine, so unfortunately she isn't here. But let us know, Wendy, did you finish it? What'd you think of it?" Um, yeah, absolutely. I thought it was annoying at the beginning. Yes, and but I really in the beginning, I was like, "I am not gonna like this." It and then it changed. I mean, all the way to a 4 star. I was actually pretty proud, pretty proud. She was being too naive for me too. Uh And it just, like, I don't know what it was. And, like, the fact that she was naked and they, like, instantly made Blake betroth, like, Medra, it was just intense. And then now it's like, "Oh, you know nothing? Go to school." "Oh, yeah," and then you're gonna fall for all these, like, things like, "Oh, this girl who was glaring at you is now gonna be your best friend and help you," and then all of these things are going wrong. I was kind of like, "Hello?" Like, I th as far as we know, like, you killed your grandpa and took down your whole world and, like, transported into another universe or whatever. You can't be that dumb. That's kind of how I felt. No filter. Not for me, it bounced around, but for me, it was logical. Yeah, like, looking back now, it makes sense, but in the beginning, it took me a moment to really get to it. Didn't finish it. I'm okay with spoilers, though. Oh, no! I mean, if you're okay with spoilers, I'm here for it. I'm so addicted to Disney Dreamlight Valley that I've been spending all my free time playing that and not reading. Can you is that a g Okay, so I know it's a game, but, like, is it a game where you could, like, listen to an audiobook, or can't you? Like, do you have to is it too mentally stimulating where you have to, like, read and interact? I think I actually just watched, like, a Disney Insider thing on the plane about this. Is it where you, like, fight people? Or is that different? I don't know anything about video games except what Matt tells me. He kept talking about having seen her naked and that her her thatched and was going, "Did I miss something?" Then I remembered it was from the very beginning. Yeah, and let me I didn't mind. I actually didn't mind, the Blake, like, dreaming about her, but I was like, "Wow, that really, like, ingrained in his memory." And I mean, I guess it wouldn't have made sense otherwise if she showed up naked, but also, why did she show up naked? Is that ever gonna be, like, something that gets solved? And, like, she was so confident, and then, like, she went from confident to very, like, I don't know, scared, but I mean, I would've been too. I mean, if you feel that exposed, I would also get defensive, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Okay, things are fine," to a certain extent, then you kinda think about your insecurities more. Wendy, same. I know, I need to if I played video games, I would never get anything done. Sometimes, yes, but there's a lot of reading for quests, so I would have to pause for that. Other than that, I could. Well, I get that. Sometimes video games are too much, but Matt will play, like, Farm Simulator, and with that, I'm like, "I bet you could listen to an audiobook," and a lot of time he'll listen to audiobooks or podcasts. Um, but yeah, so my feelings did change. The beginning to me, it felt like HBO, like, it was a shock factor, kind of like throwing a lot at you, and then the world building took some time. And with that, like, what did you guys think of the magic system? Uh, they kept bringing up about how these dragons don't exist, and I was like, "Yeah, well, they're definitely gonna exist." I think that's pretty obvious by the cover and how she is like the only dragon rider to come back, and it's based on her hair. But I also think it's interesting that like she's part fae, and in this world it's only vampires. So it is curious to see how, like, that's all gonna tie together. I always love a good take on, like, what are the rules of these vampires, because every series is so different, like, can they go in sunlight? Can they not go in sunlight? Um, like, how these ones could control people, and I'll be honest, the terminology, I normally write it down, but because I started reading this on the plane, I did not write a lot of, like, the terminology down. So if I say it incorrectly, I apologize, but, um, like, in a lot of series, vampires will be able to control or, like, persuade people into do stuff, and we do see that, in this, series, but and then they don't need blood to survive. Sometimes they need blood to survive, sometimes they don't, and it's interesting how it's like an academy built for the elitist, but it's not just vampires. So I did find that like really interesting. At first, the whole academic thing was giving me like too high school, but definitely by the end, it was giving me more of Fourth Wing vibes. And I was like, oh no, this is a little bit more intense. Um, as we found out for poor Naveen. Poor dude. Um, okay. It's a cozy game. The storyline is you go through your childhood home and fall asleep, and next to a wishing well, you wake up in Dreamlight Valley, and all the characters have lost their memories. Okay. There is one that I just saw that you like collect characters and they can fight. I don't remember what that one's called, but that sounds super cute. I grew up watching my brother play, Kingdom Hearts. I was obsessed, and that storyline was so good. So this sounds really cool. I just typically don't play games because 'cause I'm not good at them. I kept yelling, "The dragons are right behind you." Yeah, they literally have statues of dragons, and then they're feeling tremors, and you're like, "It's just earthquakes." It's like, "Okay." Do you know who's believing that? Not me. Apparently everybody else is just delulu. Don't apologize because I won't spell anything correct. Yeah, it's the same thing. And the spelling on some of these things were a little weird too, which then I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna remember. Okay, I'm home now catching up. Yeah, I think I'm leaving my rating at 3 stars. Didn't hate it, but didn't love it. I'm actually the opposite of you, Sam. I started out loving it, but then by the end you didn't. Oh no. See, I got more attached to the characters at first. I'm like, I could care less about any of you. And then by the end, I was like, not Naveen. And then when Florence, what was her name? Was it Florence? When she got put in a different house, I was like, oh, actually, I was not expecting that. And I mean, Blake wasn't either. So I did get more attached. Do you know what sold me? The fluffin' Neville sold me. As soon as that happened, I was like, "Wait, what? We have a magical creature that acts like a dog, looks like a fox with owl eyes?" I'm kinda disappointed because I couldn't find more fan art, of it, and there's only, like, one person did, like, a little AI thing, and this isn't what I envisioned, but, this is what someone did of Neville. It's not exactly what I think of, but also still freaking adorable, and I want a Fluffin. So then I was attached, even though, Neville could have been a little bit bigger part of it, like, he was, like, always there, but I wanted more from him. But I won't lie, I was a sucker for Blake. At first, I was like, "Bleh," and then I'm like, "Oh, hey, I like him." You're farming, mining gems, cooking and completing quests to unlock characters and bring them back to the valley. You would love it, Sam. But then I would literally never get anything else done. I was like an all or nothing gamer. Like, I did Sims so hard. I did, like, Barbie riding stable, and then honestly, that was about it. Like, the pet what was the pet one? And then we had, like, Pokemon Pinball. There were, like, some games that I really liked, but I like watching other people. I didn't care. I doubt I'll continue on. Well, that's a bummer. I hope you still have fun, like, talking about all the things though, because sometimes it's fun, like, just not bashing books, but, like, picking on, like, all of the weird things that they decided to go with. I like that it kinda talked of the OG vampires because they call them thralls. Yeah, I did like how you could feel a lot of, like, essence of history and lore in this. At first, I was like, "Yeah, I don't know where this is going." It kinda feels like they're just picking, popular things, but I was like, "Oh, no." I mean, I don't know my research of vampires and, like, all the lore with it, but when they started talking about stuff, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's, like, some legit back in the day lore that and, like, the history of vampires and stuff." So I thought that was kinda cool. For me, the system seems unfinished as of this book, which is one of my few complaints. Yeah, I mean, there's so much we still do not understand. And there's some things that still didn't make sense to me, like the bone crown or whatever, and like some of the magic spells, and like we just don't really know anything in this book about like we know that Medra like killed her grandpa. Somehow her mom got in her mind. Uh and then and then now she's in a dagger, and then all of a sudden a dragon comes about and then takes off. So there's like so much that it's like, okay. And she still has to go to school. Which did they say how many years they have to go for? Like, doesn't it depend on your specialty too? It's kind of it left it very open ended. You can also customize your village. So much, or it's very much like the Disney parks. That sounds really cute. Maybe that's why I didn't love it because of Fourth Wing vibes. You know how I feel about that series. Yeah, it felt a lot it if sometimes it felt like it took big pieces from other series, but then I did feel like it mixed it up enough itself. Um, but, like, as soon as the Fluffin was named Neville, I was like, "Wow, that was a nod to Harry Potter." How could it not be? But Um, Kingdom Hearts is amazing, I love Dreamlight Valley too. Okay, what do you play Dreamlight Valley on? Is that on a Nintendo Switch? Because I do not have one of those. I really cannot afford a gaming system. That would actually like, can you play Nintendo Switches, like, on planes? Honestly, with how much I'm flying right now, that sounds like it would be a fun game. Because I can't always read on planes. I read a little bit, I was actually proud of myself. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts. I've never been into video games, but my niece got me hooked on this game. I'm obsessed. Well, you're a little gamer now. I did like Blake. I mean, I love a broody man. I'm just putting that out there, and I've said this multiple times on Discord. I love it when the the female hates the guy, and the guy is like, "Ah, she's infuriating, but I love her, and I can't tell you why." I'm obsessed with that. I love that trope. Of course, I still love talking about it. I kn like, even when I'm not a big fan of books, I love talking about them. Also, and sometimes when I really don't like books, I also wanna talk about them, and not in, like, a mean way, but just, like, why I didn't like it. Also, in my mind, while I knew the tremors were the dragons, I was also reminded of Reese and Feyre doing the dirty and causing mountains to tremble. Okay, spoilers for other series. I know, I'm talking about Harry Potter and all that stuff too. Uh, Speaking of that, I have this is my Cassian straw topper, but it fit the vibes because it's the red. It looks like dragon wings too. But, well, and okay, so also, like, the secret passageways, that Blake was going into kinda was giving me, like if you guys have seen Wednesday, Wednesday Addams, the Netflix show, it was kinda giving me Nevermore vibes, and I could also be, like, Throne of Glass and lots of things with, like, secret passageways and stuff like that, but I did like it. The author went from Draco to Drake to Blake. I literally the blonde hair, I was like, "Oh, so we all know these are the Malfoys, right?" Like, that's how I felt. But yeah, Blake definitely had his own personality. It was hard not to see Draco for a good chunk of it though, which I wasn't mad about. We didn't find out enough about Medra. Agreed, and she was our main character, which was kind of weird. And meanwhile, Blake was like, "I'll tell you a secret. I'll tell you all these secrets about me." And Medra's like, "I'm not telling you a dang thing, bud." 3 to 4 years for school, which I actually find somewhat accurate. Okay, I at first I thought they said 3, and then I thought it was 4, like, like a typical college, and then I was thinking 3 kinda like in 4th wing. Um, but then I couldn't remember if it depended on, like, what they were going into. I'll be honest, when it came into, like, the different parts that they could break up into, I kinda zoned that out and the different houses because I was getting there was a lot of world building in the beginning I was like, "I'm just gonna keep trudging through and maybe it'll stick and maybe it won't." Not the entire book was HP coded, I know. But I thought it did enough where it wasn't same. I guess, like, secret passageways and stuff is Harry Potter too. There's a lot, um, but at least it was vampires and not all, like, wizards and witches. You can play, Dreamlight Valley on your PC. Oh, really? Oh, it's, like, on everything. Switch, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Oh, so everything. Matt has an Xbox, but I grew up on, PlayStation. So that's a big reason I don't play video games either because it's so hard to play when you're used to, like, one and then not the other. It's so hard to switch back and forth. And then for someone who just isn't good at anything, I just didn't really play. Um, so, I mean, we're kind of already talking about this, but what'd you guys think of Medra and what'd you think about Blake? Uh, I liked Medra. In the beginning, she really annoyed me, with how naive she was against, Regan, however you say her name, Regina George. That's that's honestly who I thought inspired Regan's character was Regina George. That's all I could think about was how, like, rude and jealous and everything she was. She was such a pick me girl. I was not about it. I liked Medra more as the book went on. In the beginning, I was not a fan. Blake though, he did I will say he wasn't perfect, he wasn't flawless, which I do also enjoy. I don't like it when the guys are just always perfect. But there were some times when I was like, "Okay, Blake, that is not the time, bud." Or when he was like when he would be nice to Reagan just to get what he wanted, I also didn't really like that. Um but yeah, and then we find out that, like, he's a dad. Was not expecting that at all. That shocked me a bit. But yeah, like with Medra, 1, I would not want my mom in my brain at all. Um, and I also find that, like, really confusing. We really still don't have a lot of answers on that. But she's like, "Oh, yeah, there's just someone talking in my head." I thought it was another vampire at first. I did not think it was going to be her mom. Um, yeah, and that would not be fun when you're, like, crushing on this guy and your mom's in your head. Awkward. Um, we can play together and visit each other's valleys too. That's really cute. I can see Harry Potter, but honestly, it didn't feel like a full Harry Potter for me. I saw more Camelot, Arthurian legend. See, and I don't know a ton about that. That's where I felt like it took a lot more of, like, those OG coded things and did kind of wrap them in, which I thought was cool. I didn't feel like it was too copy paste, but you could definitely tell that the author liked a lot of, like, the Harry Potter-esque things. As soon as the Fluffin's name was Neville, I was like, "Well, that just solidified that by 100%." Draco, Hermione, Lupin, I'm not gonna Occlumency, yeah, Neville, Regan, Pansy, Theo was Theodore, not yeah, you there was definitely, like, nods, with characters and, like, their personalities. I definitely got that. I was not the biggest fan of Medra in the beginning, then I liked her, and at the end, I kinda didn't like her again. Yeah, she's very, like, indecisive and, like, in a point where it feels like she doesn't even know what she is trying to do. Girl, like, kinda came out like this badass bitch and was like, "Mm, look at me, like, I'm not gonna fall for anything. I just took down, like, potentially" I like, it's so confusing. We don't really know, like, how she got there, but she has memories of stuff, but she just c doesn't share them with us, and then she's, like, an insecure girl that was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna go to school now. I hate these people, but I'm just gonna do whatever," and it's like, I don't know, she just didn't, like, try enough for me, um, and then obviously, what was it, Rodriguez, was, like, trying to get like, he's trying to tell her something about, like, the dragons. "There's something you need to know." He's like I don't know why he, like, can't go out and, like, tell her. I don't know if he's trying to, like, test her, but she seems just, like, a bit out of it sometimes, and I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing? How can you be, like, so powerful and do everything that you've done and then yet still be so confusing?" Blake, I very much liked at least once I started liking him, it did take a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't that but that's I do like that when it's, like, the slow gradual and it's, like, every little thing, every little extra thing you find out about him, then you're like, "He's delicious." Also, Yvette, I hope your headphones are, in fact, soundproof because after that one part, you're like, "Oh my gosh," and I'm like, "Oh, girly pop, I hope you're ready for later on." Because your coworkers don't wanna be hearing that. She kept saying Blake was bullying her, but did he really? He never full out did anything to her. Yeah, and I'm trying to think back of, like, all the instances. The one time she thought it was him to find out it wasn't him, and I mean, like, yeah, he told Visha was the girl, he told Visha to go after her, and then, like, she kinda went too far, um, but yeah, and I think it took, like, Medra a while to realize that, but then towards the end, she was like, "Oh, okay," but then, you know, he kinda lied about the whole blood thing, um which, I mean, he saved her life, though. I don't know. I was like, "It's fine." I like that they talked about her Aunt Morgan, which would be Morgan, Le Fay from the legend. I am not recalling any of that, but that's on me. She also has such double standards, especially with Blake. Yeah. And then I don't know, like, then she was like, "Oh, I like Cage," and also I found that really interesting too, that all of a sudden, like, Cage is very interested in her, and I'm like, "He's being too nice." I don't trust anybody when they're too nice, especially in fantasy. I always am like you have ulterior motives, especially from being in a different house and, wow, they said their last name so many times, you'd think I'd remember it. When Blake's family's house is, like, in control and they kind of feel like they're getting all power hungry, like, and too dominant. I, found that was interesting too. Um, so this is just, like, a random thing, but they talked a lot about, shields and, uh, like, your mental shields, and so I was wondering, like, do you guys practice your mental shields, or, like, do you think about, like, "Oh, my mind is so open right now," and then boom, closing my shields? Because I do. I pretend that I'm practicing my shields. It doesn't matter what fantasy it is, anything that has to do with, like, mental work and bonds and all of that, and this one, they did, like, talk about, like, a lot of visuals, but I was wondering if you guys have, like, your own type of rooms that you think about? Like, I often think about, like, a stone castle with the old wooden doors with, like, the brass hinges, and then, like, a huge beam that they put in front of it, and it's like, "Ha ha, you're not getting in," and you could just see them like, the doors slamming. Unless, you can't be penetrated whatsoever at all, then it's, like, all metal. Then I'm, like, welding up any little hole that might get in. But that's, like, I wanna know, like, do you is that just a me thing? Am I the only one practicing my mental shields? Because I think about it all the time. And then, like, I was like, "That would be really mentally draining. That would be really hard." So I just wanna know, do you guys also think about that? I have never once thought about that. Are you okay? Stop it! You cannot tell me between Fourth Wing, ACOTAR, like, all of these books, you cannot tell me you've never ever thought about your own mental shields. Like, if someone could read your mind right now, you don't think about, like, "Nope, shut my mind off." Who hurt you? Probably myself. It's called insecurities. Which is so funny because I obviously can talk a lot and I don't shut up and I overshare like crazy. So it's like I don't even know why anyone would have to break into my head. You could just ask me and I would tell you. I'd be screwed. My brain is the most ADHD freaking circus, but then maybe nobody could sort through that. Exactly. Distract. They would never know. And that's kind of actually, Wendy, in this book, they kind of talked about that too, about how, like, you have to have memories. Like, you can't close off all of your memories, but you have to be selective with which memories you share so that it doesn't, like, come off of, like, you're hiding something. So, like, look at that'd be perfect. I think about it all the time, don't worry, Sam. It's so funny because my brain never stops, and I'll be thinking of 500,000,000 things, and I'll be like, "Matt, what are you thinking about?" And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "What are you thinking about?" And he's like, "Nothing." I'm like, "What are you're thinking about something." He's like, "No." So we joke that his brain is just like the monkey with cymbals going ching, 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 ching. So when I'm, like, having mental, like, spirals and freaking out about everything. I was like, "How are you?" And he's like, "Ching, ching, ching, ching." I have thought about the theory behind it, but not, that depth or how I would do it. I just think about, like, what my room would look like and if I would be good at it, you know? It's just more mental hurdles I like to give myself. I just show the memories of my cat. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine, like, the B-roll of, like, your pets? They'd be like, okay, I'm going." Or, like, I could really talk about, like, cows or my dogs, my cat. Yeah, there's some stuff I could talk a good long time, like, in my brain about and be like, "Look at this in this picture, and did you see this picture? And oh my gosh, one time I made this, and then I did that, and look how cute this was, and I made my dog dress up in this costume." And they would be like, "Yeah, okay." Peace out. I'm done. See, now you're gonna think about it. This is what you're gonna do tonight, Yvette. Now that you, like, process this whole book in 2 days, you're gonna be like, "Oh, now I'm gonna think about my mental shields." Okay. So what is a favorite quote and or scene? So, I didn't highlight a ton, I do struggle. I either, like, highlight a ton or not at all on my Kindle, and for whatever reason, I didn't it was bugging me to highlight, so I didn't highlight too much. There were also to me, this book didn't have as many highlight highlightable, uh, tabbable quotes as I think, the Book of Azrael did. The Book of Azrael, I was like, "Yes, yes, yes." This one, I was like, We're not there yet." Maybe book 2 would have a lot more, but when it comes to, like, different scenes, I very much loved the Fluffin' scene. Anytime, Neville was there. I also really, uh I thought the spice on this was really good. I liked the spicy scenes. Um, I'm glad they, like it wasn't right away in the beginning because I was kind of, worried about how it was gonna be, but then it got spicy. Um, but I'm trying to think what else. Like, I feel like I read so much in the past couple of days that my brain doesn't remember, like, all the things. Um, I just anytime Blake was, like, brooding over her, I was a fan of, or anytime she was in danger and he came and protected her, I was like, "Oh, there he is again." I liked that. Uh, that made me think of the scene in the restaurant in Twilight when Edward is reading people's thoughts for Bella, and he's like, "Sex, sex, cat." The guy's eyes. Yes, exactly. That's pretty much how it would probably be, like, if we could go into other people's minds. That would be exhausting, though. Or I don't know if you guys have ever watched, like, True Blood. In True Blood, the main character can hear people's thoughts, and that would be exhausting. But she, like, learns to shut them out. I loved every time they said something fluffin' related. It made my day. I needed more fluffing content, to be honest. It was interesting to me that Neville liked to be with either Blake or Florence. Was her name Florence? I feel like I'm forgetting her name. Started with an F. Uh, like, I thought that was weird because I thought Medra was gonna have more of an attachment to the Fluffin that she saved, you know? So, I did find that a little interesting that Neville didn't go to her too much. The spice be spicy. I like it. Yeah, I thought the spice was really good. I mean, until she did, I will say she liked to, like, get us, like, all, like, "Ooh, spicy," and then boom, bucket of ice cold water, because, the whole sacrifice thing, I was like, "Ah, okay. Well, we're gonna just change pace on that real quick." I was not expecting that. Then the girl died, which was kind of awkward. Yeah, that's what I was like. It's like, okay, we just got a cold shower right there. Just calm down, everybody, right now. I do most of my highlighting on my second read through, unless it's a monumental quote. There weren't many for me in this book. I loved the Blake POV scenes, and yes, the Fluffin scenes. Yes, and I loved getting like Blake's POV through the whole book. Um, and how even some scenes we would get both of their perspectives. I really liked that. Like how some books it'll just like keep progressing chronologically, but I liked how sometimes it did overlap. Um, I did appreciate that a lot. But yeah, and Blake's chapters tended to be shorter, which was nice too. I felt like Medra's we were getting all the world building, and with Blake's we were just, like, purely getting, like, his perspective on things, so that was nice. Yes, it was Florence. Okay, thank you. There were a lot of characters in this, and then once you start getting, like, teachers, and then the house names, and then all the characters, I was starting to get a little bit overwhelmed. That's and I didn't write any of them down, and I feel like that's something that if you have to start writing from the get-go, and then if you don't, it's just kinda like, whatever, and that's just kinda how I did it. All the fluffing makes me think of, "What the fluff? Holy fluff, are you fluffing kidding me?" I wonder if that's where, like, she got it from, because 'cause I've never heard of a fluffin' before. It's essentially looks like a fox, but it has owl eyes, so, just big cartoony eyes is what I picture, but then it acts like a dog. Um It sounds like the most adorable creature ever, and I want one. I want one. Mother fluffer. That's why when, like, they named it Neville, I was kind of like, that's a cute name, it's a cute name, but they could have done more with a fluffiny, cute cutie name, you know? Yes. Uh Or her watching Blake feed the first time, I liked how that was written. Yeah, because, like, she was, like, disgusted, but at the same time, she was like, I like it when you can tell that they don't like what's happening, but they can't resist, and I felt like the author did a really good job at showing both Medra and Blake having this pull, like, that they can't explain. Um, I really liked that too. But there were so many times where she's, like, following him, and he was like, "I knew you were following me," and she was like, "Oh," and it's like, "Girl, um, like, get it together." I also thought that, like, the whole, um, oh, what is it? The games that, Regan and Medra had to do together, for whatever reason, I thought that was gonna play, like, a bigger role because I really, like, worked up to that and it didn't. However, I also really liked the whole ball scene when Cage took Medra and Blake got so jealous. I loved it. I loved it. And then, he starts dancing with her and then makes her mad. It's like, "Dude, shut up." But he couldn't, and I kinda liked that he couldn't watch his, like, mouth with her, but she also was like, didn't hold back with him, and I'm like, "Yes, keep fighting, I love it." Brothels are great in books. I just wanna say, I feel like wasn't it in Fear the Flames, there was a brothel too? That's why I was like, "What?" I feel like there's been a lot of brothels lately. Uh, it just does something apparently. But, yeah, there were, like, parts I really liked. The part I wasn't expecting? I wasn't expecting Naveen, to actually be a creature. I actually was not expecting that at all. I don't know if I have a Oh, here, we'll do the what twist surprised you the most? I was not expecting Naveen to get changed, into a, like, spider creature, and then die. That's what I Yvette, you're gonna love this. That's when I started enjoying it even more, not because I felt really sad because I was really starting to like Naveen, but I like high stakes. I like it when fantasies make us enjoy characters and then slowly break them away. I know it. Once again, you'll ask, "Who hurt me?" I don't know. There's sometimes you got I just it feels more realistic, right? And when that happened, I was like, "Oh, man, that's intense." But I won't lie, the Naveen and Florence thing, I was like, "Bro, you gotta shoot your shot or move on." This is why I'm not a friends to lovers type gal, because 'cause I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you can't just, like, put yourself through this like that." But I also, like, appreciated that Florence was like, "Maybe," like, but I don't know, like, I felt like that was, like, realistic. It was very sad that he died. I didn't want him to die. I wasn't expecting him to die, but to me, it was like Yvette actually made the comment in Discord that, like, "Oh, okay, I guess this is a reason you're gonna wanna actually do well in school," and it's like, yeah, oh my gosh, like, while it would be really sad to get kicked out of this prestigious school and then be like a servant, um, I think this is worse. I think being turned into a spider creature and losing your soul, is definitely worse. The consort trials, I think they were called, yes. I wanted to say consort, but then I'm like, I don't remember the word. But yes, I thought it was going to be a bigger part of the book. Yeah, and that was the one thing in this book, it just didn't feel you can tell it's building. It's building to more, but it really didn't itself have, uh, like, that huge big scene, I think. I mean, it had little parts that were good, like Naveen, and, Blake actually creating Ania. I wasn't expecting that. I was like, "Oh, that's some tea," that I definitely think is going to play into it because she is a feral thing. Um, I thought that whole thing was interesting too. Uh, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. Yes, Fear the Flames had a phenomenal brothel scene. I actually okay, I did have this because we did, I mean, this is stepping. The second book of Fear the Flame just came out this week. The Wrath of Dragons, or last week. Oh my gosh, where is time going? So I did get it. Just FYI. I want to read it sooner than later, but I don't know if I'll read it this month. But I want to read it because I still feels kind of fresh. Because obviously, look at I remembered the brothel scene. They've become popular as a plot point, allows the girl to drop inhibitions without making them drunk. That's true. That is true. I mean, I've always I read Redeeming Love, which is not a fantasy book. It is a Christian romance, but like Francine Rivers pushes some like some themes when it comes to her Christian romances. But that is a whole like brothel type thing. It's like California gold rush time, all of that. And so to me, ever since high school, I've been a brothel girl. That sounds so weird to say. But from that book, I have always liked brothels. The first dragon being the one attached to Cage's house and rejecting her. Yeah! Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was a big part. Like, when the dragon came out and it was like, "Oh, that's not her house," and he was like, Bye," and they're like, this is, like, a big deal, you can't reject me," and the dragon's like, "Sorry about it, you're not in my house," and it's like, "Oh, okay." So I guess that is actually, like, a pretty big thing. But to me, like, a dragon emerging was pretty predictable, but not from another house. I really wanted Regan to have a redemption, and then the whole bone dragon crown happened, and I went, "No more for you." Yeah, and, like, the fact that they were, like, trying to kill her and all of that stuff, I was like, I also didn't that was one of my biggest icks from the beginning, was that, like, these 2 girls are pinned against each other, and I really thought that Regan would come around. I also wasn't expecting, Blake to be able to break his bond with her, though. I thought that was gonna be a lot bigger deal, but I was very happy when it happened. Uh, yeah, and then Naveen died, and I went, "Well, sheet." Yeah. That was I was not expecting that. I liked him. I felt like we got a lot of him, but I definitely loved Florence more, like Medra. Um, but that was wild. I still don't understand, like, that whole essence and, like, why she was allowed. I mean, I understood why she was allowed to do it, but also I just feel like some rules are just made up as we go to fit the storyline, but it isn't like something you would necessarily think would actually. I don't know. I just didn't felt like it came as naturally as some of the other stuff. I still need to get back to that. I have so many books I need to read first. Plus, the next Crowns of Noxia comes out tomorrow. This year's trying to kill me. Okay, I saw that too. I am so far behind on that series. I have read the first book and the novella, so I still have the like second book to read. So I'm like that I'm excited for everyone that's excited to read it, but I'll get to it eventually. You've been a brothel girl, eh? Yeah, apparently. That is a trope I like. Brothels. Yes, I thought Regan would have to die for their bond to be broken, which may have been why I wanted her dead. I literally was like, "Can we just, like, have a Regina George," if you guys don't know, it's from Mean Girls, moment, and let her just get hit by a bus or, in this world, a dragon come and just boom, be done with her because I was very much over her. Um Now, we have to keep her because I feel like we don't have too many other, like, real villains yet. I do think the uncle is definitely a villain. I don't trust him at all. Uh, he's quite weird. Every time that he was, like, talking about Medra, I'm like, "Ugh, no, no, that's gross. Stop, old man, not about that." I was not a fan. But and then, like, when he was, like, beating Blake to a pulp and, like, how he would constantly call him stupid, I was like, "Mhm, I really hope you don't live much longer." But, besides, Regan, I just feel like we don't have too many other villains yet, but I don't trust Cage. But I like Cage. I mean, he is nice and sweet, but I'm like, why are you doing this?" I binged that series in, like, a week, but it's been a while, so I should probably reread before I read this one. Yeah, I had to reread the first book because I read it for a friend's book club, and then I reread it, and then I never got to the second one, but I remember it so much better because I reread it. That's how I feel with everything. I'm trying to get through Throne of Glass, guys. I'm definitely not a fan of Victor, yeah, Victor or Blake's creepy brother. Oh, yeah, what's his name? Like, Marcus? Was that Marcus? That is true, I forgot about Marcus. Yeah, he also with his these other vampires, man, they are not it. They are not it. Yeah, Marcus was also maybe I'm thinking of Marcus more than, Victor. They both were awful, though. Well, because Blake talked about, like, "Oh, my uncle can, like, never have her," and I'm like, "Ugh." Still reminded me of Nuka. Why should I know what that is? Should I know what that is? Sorry, I am, like sometimes, like, I'm like, "Yes, that," and then other times I'm like, Did I read that? Do I know what that is?" Um, but yeah, there were a lot of twists, and then, like, I know Blake talked about Ania and, like, how that was such a big deal, and that's why his mom went away. I am very curious on what happened to Blake's dad, because it's weird how, like, nobody knows how he died, and he was such a, like, a progressive type dude. Oh, Lion King 2. Yes, I was like, I feel like you said that in something else. Yeah, like, just unhinged and wild and willing to do anything. I love Lion King 2. Ah, Kovu. Hear me out. He'd be on my hear me out cake. Yeah, no, they're both gross, and I hate them. Yes. Yes, Kovu's brother, correct. Um, yes, and then Marcus, and, like, the way he just yeah, I don't the way he would talk about just people and yuck. Victor killed him, and if he didn't, I will hate everything. Okay, but see, like, I feel like it can't be that simple, right? Right? Or, like, did I miss that? Right? I don't know. That's where I'm like, I feel like this is gonna, like, in our faces. Kovu was a babe. I will die on that hill. Yes, he was. Didn't know I could be attracted to an animated lion, but man, little me loved Kovu. Um, but yeah, like I don't know, and, like, the whole thing that Medra just came from, like, this whole different universe, that's gotta play into this, right? I don't know. I'm definitely on it. Watch, Blake killed him under Victor's thrall. Yeah, see, I feel like it's not gonna be easy peasy. I feel like Blake is gonna be doing some bad stuff. Um, and also, I feel like Ania is going to play a bigger part in it. Like, she is a feral little child. I wasn't gonna post any, like, creepy things because I know some people get scared, but I just pictured this creepy little girl in all the scenes doing weird stuff and just my, like, spooky season and haunted stuff is like, "Yes." But also I'm like, she definitely is going to mess some stuff up in the future. There are some things that are acceptable plot twists, and there are some things that are not. I think it really depends on context. Context, because if it was under Victor's thrall, he couldn't control himself. That's not his fault. It would be absolutely heartbreaking. It's kind of like an Ella Enchanted, if you ever watched that movie with Anne Hathaway. Like, she can't disobey. Uh, there's just some things you can't do. Sorry, I had to jump off back now. No worries. I'm glad you're here. I don't get how she was completely different universe yet a dragon rider. Also, them talking about her long feet weirded me out. What do you got against long feet? I got long feet. I got big feet, and they're long and skinny. So I'm not showing you. Not getting that for free. But I do feel like when I wear shoes, my feet, like, feel like clown feet because they're really long and narrow. So maybe I'd be a dragon rider. I'll just have to get red hair. And it's so weird. Yeah, like, I don't understand how, like, the universes work because she has no idea about this universe. She didn't understand any of these creatures, but yeah, they had these similarities. So is it, like, time traveling, or is it different worlds? How does it work? So much not explained in the 567 pages. I can get behind Marcus killing him. I will be pissed if it was Blake enthralled or not. I feel like it's gotta be a twist. Or what if it was Medra? Or Medra's mom, or Blake's mom, or I don't know. I feel like it has to be something more. What if it was a Nia? What if it was this feral sorry, now I'm getting into it. What if it's this feral little child? I have no idea. I don't know. I feel like there's so much we don't know in this book, which I love and hate at the same time. Could be Blake's mom. Yeah, isn't it weird that she just was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna help you with this kid, but also bye, peace out. I can't be here anymore. I can't be a queen. I can't deal with this stuff." Like, that's a little sus to me. I don't trust that. And they could be putting it on Ania, but I'm like, I'm not quite sure. But okay. And then I like this question just because I like to add more books to my TBR. What books would you recommend that are similar to this one? Honestly, Harry Potter, Fourth Wing. Uh, if you like the vampires, if you guys haven't watched True Blood, it was an HBO series. I loved it. It's gory. I didn't like the gore. Um, it's based on, like, vampires in the modern world, but then they have, like, all of these, like, magical creatures. It was really nice having, like, vampires. I like it when we get other creatures that we normally don't talk about, in this fantasy club. Um, what else was I thinking of? Crescent City would be one. I mean, I couldn't tell you about the whole series because I haven't quite read it yet. I read the first one. This is part of why I was ready to pick up the second book. I feel like it will have more answers. Agreed. And if you guys don't have, oh, I just read the 2 other, I can't say this again. Dramini books, The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy and Rose in Chains. And then, I need to read some of these. I that's my biggest qualm with, Harry Potter was I I needed the enemies to lovers, and I just didn't have it. Uh, but yes, would you guys continue with this series? The second book is out on Kindle Unlimited, and the third book comes out in March, so it's not that long, and I think it's a trilogy. Um, it says that's the hard thing is, like, it says sometimes, like, book 3, so I don't know if that's what's planned or if it's planned on being a trilogy. However, I will say coming out this month, um, like, in a couple weeks, I think it was, like, next week or something, is this special hardcover edition is on Amazon. Do you see those edges? That's gorgeous. I don't know. I really want it. I really want it. That cover is gorgeous. So that's, like, coming out really soon, and then if you want the hardcover of the second book and you don't wanna read it on Kindle Unlimited, that doesn't come out until November, I think. So, I don't know if you can get the 3rd book no, you can't get the 3rd book on Kindle Unlimited until March, but that part is exciting. I know I'm definitely gonna read. Part of me would like to read the second book pretty soon while all of this is fresh in my mind. Will it happen this month? Probably not. If you guys don't know, I leave for Disney World on Sunday. And then I ended up picking 2 extra shifts at the gym this week, to help pay for all this stuff. Um, so I'm gonna be traveling. And, in September, I have the Dragon Gauntlet chapter 2 where I won a ticket and then Matt and I are going. So I need to make my costume and do all that stuff. So it's gonna be busy couple months still, and then we have a wedding in, Arizona in September. So it's about to be really busy for me. So as much as I would love to read the next one, like, right now, which I should just do. I should just do it. I'm probably gonna wait a little bit, but I'm excited. I think there's gonna be so much more explained in the second book. Um, and I'm excited for it. Uh, I like the vampire aspect, but not crazy about the school aspect. I really, really don't like Fourth Wing. So I think with that similarity, it makes sense that I didn't love this one. Yeah, there is something that does get a bit repetitive with the academic vibes. I feel like, even though it's so different from Harry Potter and Fourth Wing, it's hard to not just feel like that's so repetitive. I think the reason I liked Fourth Wing was because it actually felt like an adult version of Harry Potter with, like, so much different lore and obviously, like, dragon riders and not wizards and stuff. But, that is one thing that I've, like, maybe I am also not an academic, an academia type trope, because to me, it for whatever reason, it comes off naive. You have your cliques, you have, your bullies and stuff like that, and you have your, like, geeks and your jocks, and so to me, it always kind of feels like a little too traditional and same, but, I could definitely see that, why if you didn't like Fourth Wing, why you wouldn't like this. I was thinking about this, and there wasn't really anything where I was like, "Oh, if you like this, you'll really like this." Maybe Fear the Flames. Yeah, I mean, because that just had some, like, crazy dragon stuff too, which I'm really excited to get into the second book to find out how that continues. Um, but yeah, I do feel like you could only pick, like, one little thing to go off of for, like, stuff that you would like this. Um, but I did think it had a unique enough storyline and magic system that is a good standalone series. It really holds its own. I definitely will. Good, good. I like Harry Potter fanfic though. I haven't read like through a whole book yet, but I just even like fanfic art I'm about. Like I love all of the different ideas and stories and like changing stuff. I live for that. Um because some people are just so smart and creative and I'm like, I would have preferred it that way. Thank you. Thank you for writing that. I'll be continuing. She's like, that's like, I'm gonna start reading right now. Thank you. Uh, it's so hard. At least with this, the second one is out, and then the third one isn't that far away. I mean, March feels like forever right now, but by the time we get through all these series, I don't think I'll plan on continuing with the series. Yeah, I feel like if you didn't like this, it's not worth it. And if you ever want like spoilers, I know a bunch of us would be more than happy to give you spoilers to just because I'm the type of person I want to know. I want to know how things end. Even if I didn't like it, I want to know how things end. So I will look up spoilers just to like have that mental like ease of this is how things like wrapped up. But if you don't, I get it. You got so many other books that you can read and give your time to, so I totally understand. The traditional publish of Manacled is also coming out next month. I knew that was coming out soon too. Matt and I are trying to go to Hollywood Studio or Hollywood. Matt and I are trying to go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios in October because they're having a Fallout, which is a video game that he plays, but I watched the show with him. They're having a Fallout haunted house. We also, when we went to Halloween Horror Nights, we didn't get to see the Death Eaters. Um, so I've been going on a lot of girls' trips, and Matt hasn't gotten to do very many trips for him. So we're gonna try to go to Orlando, but guys, I don't know how I'm supposed to pay for this. I don't know how I'm supposed to get healthy from this stuff, but you know, what's life? Just keep traveling and just keep living and pretend that real problems don't matter. If I just keep reading and living in a fantasy land in my real life, bad things won't happen, right? Arizona, yes, we have a wedding, but it's in like the Phoenix area. So it's a short trip too because they get married on a Friday. So we get there Thursday, have the wedding Friday, hang out Saturday, and then gone Sunday. So it'll be short trip. Academia vibes can be done well, but it often isn't. Oh, I haven't, and like I was gonna say, I haven't read the Zodiac Academy. Because that is like high school, I think, age. Or they're like 17, 18, 19. They're like the that like older but still young vibes. I haven't read it. I've heard mixed things about like the drama. Some people love it, some people don't love it. Um and so that's where Yeah, I typically, it's not, like, my favorite, but I don't know, here we are now with 2 series that I like. A 3 if you Harry Potter. So, I don't know. It just depends on how it's written. It's you know what it is? It's the brothel scenes. Just kidding. At this point, I actually need a bit of a break. I have books I haven't read yet that I've had for months, and with upcoming books this fall, I need some time. I get that. Um, oh, I meant to say Cruel Prince. Yeah, I do see where you could get that vibes too. The Cruel Prince is one too, where anyone going into it, the series gets better as it goes on. The first book for me was really hard to get through, but then by the end, I was like, "Okay." And then I got to the second one, and I'm like, "Okay." And then the third one, I was like, "Yep, I liked it." I actually really wanna reread that one. Um, that's one I did enjoy a lot more than I thought. If I had to base it on the first book and the beginning of the first book, oh man, I would have never finished the series. And that's kind of how I felt with this book too. If I had to base it on the beginning, if I wouldn't have had to read it because of you guys in this wonderful book club that I'm so thankful that you guys are here for, I would have probably never finished this book, but I'm so glad I did. I really enjoyed it. Um, oh, and while I'm yipping, yapping, talking, going way over the time, it's April don't have to worry about me being on my own. I can just talk myself. If you guys didn't know, we already have the book picks for the rest of the year already planned. And so if you want to get a jump start, Yvette, and not wait last minute. Totally kidding. September's pick is Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. I'm very excited for this one. And then November's pick is Direbound, which if you didn't pick up on the title, it is a werewolf. So I'm excited for both of those. And I'm so proud of myself. I already had the chapter breakdowns put up on Discord. So if you actually want to get ahead of Metal Slinger and start reading it now, you can. But we probably will not be discussing that till like October. So that's a you decision, for all my friends out there. But you can read it. I haven't put chapter breakdowns up yet for Direbound. That'll probably be like October-ish when I do that. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me, listening to me ramble and listening to my horse. I feel like I sound like I smoked like a pack of cigarettes a day because of my voice. But yeah, I'm just so glad you guys were here and had the best time. Oh, 1 week would be earlier for me, for reals, girl. But I am so proud of your, like, binge listening abilities and the fact that you remember so much. Um, I'm here for it. I'm so happy. I can't wait for Metal Slinger. Yes, I'm really excited for this one. And do I remember anything about, like, the synopsis or anything? No, but I'm just going in ready to read. Why have I have been seeing Metal Singer posted places and was like, "Why have I heard of that book?" Because for once, April and I are ahead of the game. No, these were just books we were having a hard time picking, and we're like, "We're just gonna pick." Like, 'cause we have these books, we wanna read these books, so we're like, "We're just gonna make you guys read them with us." But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope to see you soon. Um, it was so much fun. Thank you. I was feeling so much better today, and then now it's you know how mornings and nights are the worst, and then during the day you're fine? I'm on the tail end, but then, gonna go rub my hands all over some stuff at Disney World and probably get sick again. Thank you guys. Love you guys so much, and see you next time. Bye.